Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmitty, Swanee and Clarky visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right, how are we?
Not too bad, thank you.
Very, very good, thank you. Very good. Might be fair to say a little tipsy.
Right. And why might that be?
Well, I've been pre-gaming through our last episode.
Yeah, it's not really pre-gaming, it's just
because
gaming.
what are we doing? Yeah.
Back to back, yeah.
Yes.
That's right. So I had a wee is what I've done since the last episode. What about you, Swanee?
I wet my whistle. Which isn't a wee.
That's not a euphemism. No. So you got a drink because you were nil by mouth in the last episode.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I probably would have spat it out. So it's probably safety, health and safety would have appreciated the fact that I didn't have anything to choke on because it was a bit full on for anyone who's just listened to that last episode of ours.
It was indeed. All right, so who are we? I'm Schmitty.
I'm Swanee.
And I'm Clarky. And together we are...
Trial by Wine.
What was that gruff voice?
Oh, it's just, I was just channeling my inner Wiggers.
Can we I know, enough. We park that now. I don't wish to do anything more with that.
Okay, all right.
Nice, clean line, please.
Right.
I'm disturbed enough.
Draw a line under it.
I will do my best, but I can't promise.
Some of us are a little on edge.
My best is bad. at
I
best.
noticed. I have noticed.
So what are we drinking?
We're having a sneaky little Del Zotto Riesling.
Delicious.
Yes, which is very, very nice.
It's got nice
It's nice and fresh. Yeah, they rebranded a couple of years back and they've got these really lovely,
beautiful labels,
florally, fruity kind of deliciousness labels.
Do we need to come up with a little drink plan for a certain hen's night?
We do.
Yes.
Sort out some cocktails.
Oh, yes. Nice.
It's cocktails on the dick. I mean, cocktails on the deck.
You're going to oil the dick
It's
first?
better than decktails on the cock. Oh, you are wicked.
No, naughty hens.
What are you two drinking?
Swanee, what are you on?
Oh, just a Coke Zero.
Fair enough.
So predictable. I know it's such a bore. I'm sorry.
Yet again. That's all right. Tony is drinking a Delatite Pinot Green, which is very, very delicious. And whilst I abstained in the last episode, I'm having a chutney.
Welcome back.
Mango chut.
Welcome back.
Welcome
back. Yep.
Welcome
back on the mango.
Cotter.
Who's got a story? I think it might be not me.
Given where we're all at, I'm on holidays this week, so I've got plenty of time to myself. I'd like to indulge you with a back-to-back if I can.
Oh, please do.
Back-to-back. Was that I'm back fucker? Sorry. Sorry. I promise I won't talk about the last episode again. I'm sorry.
I like to spoon.
I like to spoon. Moving on.
Right. As you know, I like
I've got
to travel.
sweaty palms. I think I'm having a nervous...
Honestly.
It's Wiggers coming up the stairs.
Stop it.
Who is it? It's okay.
See, don't worry. Arthur will look after you.
It's all right. It's fine.
Okay.
It's Big Tracy.
As long as
You'll be
it's
right.
not bloody April. Hang on.
April, yeah.
I can sense vampires, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank God she hasn't got her headphones on.
Especially lesbian ones.
It's like a fucking circus here today. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna call you Buffy.
No.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
It's Arthur Van Helsing. He's a vampire slayer. Yep.
So, as you know, Stuart and I like to travel, and later this year we've got a cruise coming up, and it's our first cruise. We've always been a little bit anti-cruise.
I'm not sure what I heard.
You don't even like Tom.
Before Oprah, he was fine. But now, oh no, matron. So we're going on a cruise. And so, whilst we've been planning this cruise, you obviously look at the ship and you look at, all of the amazing things that this ship has got, and it's got so much. It's like a little city. And then, of course, you look at where you're going to go and what you're going to do and all of that. And then, of course, because I do this podcast, I look at cruise ship crimes. And so today, I'm just going to give you an overview of cruise ship crimes so that you can appreciate what has now become my latest terror.
Oh, I've done 2 cruises. I'm still alive.
Yeah, well...
3.
Have you done this research?
I
Is it
know
that
about
prevalent?
what happens. Yeah.
Well, it's not that prevalent, but when it happens, it's freaking horrific.
Oh,
So,
God.
I know, right? God.
I've got no idea where you're going to go with this, which I quite like.
What could go wrong with
short of tossing someone overboard, yeah.
3,500 people having unlimited alcohol?
Good point.
Being confined to the same spaces, in open water.
Nothing. It sounds like a great idea.
Why didn't I research this before I booked that cruise?
You guys will be turning up like on full alert,
Yeah.
ready for
correct.
your life.
No, you just won't befriend anyone. That's the secret. If you don't make any new friends, you'll be fine.
I feel
And
like
we're taking 12 of our friends.
Oh, there you go.
that's true.
Safe.
It does feel like an
Yeah.
episode. Is it going to feel like an episode of The Love Boat? Wasn't ever really about murder, was it? I was thinking more maybe.
I'm not aware of anyone being murdered on the Love Boat.
I know, but it feels like it might be an episode of something.
Well, so I'm not going to go into detail. I've got already 2 stories that I'm going to do later that are in-depth stories.
You're going to become like a specialist reporter, like known globally for his in-depth research into cruise crime. Cruise crime.
Oh, that's like that song, Freeze Frame. Do
Cruise crime.
you remember that
Cruise
song?
crime. Yes, I do.
Cruise Crime. Yeah.
Adam,
That's the new jingle.
I can't try
No,
and
it
say
was,
cruise crime with Clarky.
Cruise crime with Clarky.
Gosh.
Fuck, what was it so hard for me? I'm going to say everyone here.
It started well.
I know, I do apologise.
I've decided that with this week, I'm going to try to maximise the humour and minimise the crime. So you won't get a lot of detail on crimes, but hopefully, with the company of you chicks, we'll get some good humour.
They're going to take some license. Yeah.
Well, hopefully, it is a true crime comedy podcast. There is definitely true
heavier
crime.
on the comedy,
but
hopefully.
hopefully heavier on the comedy. So first up, I'll tell you my sources, and I'll tell you the articles because, I may have done a bit of plagiarism here. But the first one is 43 significant cruise ship crime statistics from BrandonGale.com, and Gale is spelled Gaille. The other one is Dangerous Waters, Crimes on Cruise Ships from Hain Online blog, and then Messed Up Things That Actually Happened on Cruise Ships from Grunge.com. And let me tell you, there
Still
are some
no
messed
Lad
up
Bible?
things that happened. There's still no Lad Bible.
Oh.
I think that I perhaps don't understand just how big the market for cruising is globally. I have this feeling that in America it's just off the charts. So in terms of the numbers of people going on cruises, the size of the ships and stuff like that, it's massive, isn't it? Because I know when COVID came through, it sort of ground it to a halt and it'll be starting back up again. But it's a massive industry.
Yeah, here's proof that we don't preempt these podcasts because I literally read through that today when I was researching and have since forgot. But America constitutes something like 52% of the cruising population.
Wow, that's massive.
It's grown, significantly, like 30-odd% from 2020 to 2021, but that doesn't mean anything because I think it dropped by about 95%
Because of COVID.
through COVID. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, there's huge numbers, and the anticipated growth is humongous as well. So it's big now, and they reckon it's just going to get massive. So
Isn't that interesting? Because I've seen a ship. We were in Bermuda, and it was just a simple trip. I think it only went from New York to Bermuda and maybe even back again. I don't even think that it went on down to like the Caribbean or anything. It was absolutely the biggest ship I've ever seen in my life. It was so big. Well, anyway, that's kind of without any context.
Yeah,
It
there
was
was 12 or 14 stories.
Door-
or
yeah.
more.
I've got
And then
photos
some
of Alex
them
next to it. It's
got, like,
unbelievable.
Roller coasters hanging off
Yeah.
the edges of
Yeah.
them.
yeah, so
was that-
the one we're going on has got
16
five water slides, a rope course.
Are you going on a carnival?
16 levels. No, we're not going on a carnival. It's a Norwegian breakaway,
doing
it's
Norwegian,
called.
right.
It's something like 139 metres long and holds,
Wow.
I don't know, 5,000 people. Or is it 3.9? I don't know.
People,
I'm
maybe.
vague on the details. But anyway, yeah, it's huge, huge.
We're going on the celebrity.
Can't remember. It's
The,
not
Something.
the SS Minnow.
No, it's
Are they,
Just
are they a
sit
smaller
right back
boat,
and you'll
Schmitty?
hear a tale of a fateful ship.
might be smaller
Trip.
than that one, but the celebrities are pretty big. So
The one that I saw in Bermuda, I don't think I've ever seen a boat that big in Australia. I mean, it was a city. It was
Is
unbelievable.
Bermuda in the Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Bermuda.
There
Yeah,
is
so it's a
no
little island.
way I'd get on a cruise going to the Bermuda Triangle.
We didn't
it's
cruise
worse.
there. We
I'm
flew there.
sure it's worse if you take a plane.
So I wouldn't get a plane. Yeah, like
Yeah, we did.
tempting fate. And you're worried about slagging off wiggers.
No, but I think Norwegian and Celebrity and Royal Caribbean and all of those, they're all much of a muchness. Well, they're not, but they're all big ships. Back to the
Yeah,
point.
so this one was redone in 2020. So it's got, casinos, and you get a free meal package, but then there's a specialty meal package, and then there's other restaurants, and there's bars everywhere, and
Yeah,
it's just got
that's
everything.
same as Celebrity. Yep.
Yeah. I couldn't find the rape dungeon when I went looking for it, so I think
Oh, I haven't
think
found that
we're
either.
safe.
Oh, we'll
might
find it.
say.
Don't you worry.
Let me tell you first up a little bit about the laws for cruise ships. You may not know this, or you may know this, but cruise ships are subject to the laws of the country they are flagged under, and that country is responsible for regulating the ship.
Hang on. So is flagging where your ship is licensed or registered versus when you go into different waters, you change your flag, don't you?
Yeah, so it's where your ship is registered.
Yes.
And you can, as a ship owner, choose where you register your ship. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be the place you live in.
It's
just
usually a
has
tax
to be
haven.
a place. And so, yeah, if you think that you're running a business as you are on a cruise ship, then you'll often choose a country that has, lower taxes
Yep.
and less stringent safety regulations and labour laws. So, yeah, the practice of choosing to fly the flag of a more business-friendly, for want of a better term, country is known as flying a flag of convenience. And that is generally what most cruise ships do. Can't remember if I'm going to tell you this later, so I'll tell it to you now, but I think there was something like 3 cruise ships in North America that were flying a flag for Hawaii. Otherwise, they were all international.
Yeah.
So it's really, really common. Further to that, and this is American, so, bear with me, cruise ships are only required to report serious crimes, including homicide, so any suspicious death. I don't know who chooses whether it's suspicious or not, but I'm assuming it's not anyone of any policing professional.
Just a cabin boy.
Yeah, correct.
That's a bit sus.
Is it suspicious?
Yeah,
No,
sus.
it happens all the time.
Old person picks it, yeah.
Yep. So they have to report an assault that results with a bodily injury or a sexual assault. Any money theft above $10,000 is also supposed to be reported. So if someone steals $9,000 from you, they don't have to report it. Isn't that interesting? Outside of these
Good to know,
crimes-
guys. Wink, wink. You can be like those people in Dirty Dancing, like the old couple who walk around grabbing people's hands. I've forgotten what they're called. Do you know who I'm talking about? I've got their name.
Oh, yes, I do
Yes.
know.
Baby blames the Schumachers for stealing the wallets because when the old broad dropped her purse.
Baby. No
Schumacher.
one puts baby in a corner.
That was that was not what I was expecting.
Outside of these crimes, a little bit like this podcast, the cruise ship company can resolve the case internally without saying another word. Needless to say, there are thousands of victims of cruise ship crime that will never see justice served.
Good place to work if you're a crim, really.
Oh, 100%, right? So I've got some stats from 2017. So since 2011, more than 950 crimes have been reported to the FBI by cruise ship lines, but only 31 of those crimes were reported publicly. The
So
rate
you mean
of,
like they were tip-offs or something? What's the difference between reported publicly and reported to the FBI?
well, I'm guessing that they were reported to the FBI, but weren't necessarily. Nothing was
To the
done, so
police
they
or-
didn't
Yeah,
get to
right,
they didn't get to the point where they went any further than that.
Yeah.
The rate of alleged rapes whilst on a cruise ship is 9 per every 100,000 people, whilst the FBI reports 27.1 alleged incidents per 100,000 people in the general population.
So less.
Way less, so like a third. So
That's because most of the people on cruise ships are average age of 73.
Is that because there are less rapists, or is that because there are more people saying go for it?
I think, it could be to Smitty's point that there's a whole lot of elderly people on cruises who clearly aren't sexual deviants. Haven't heard of any of that. It could be
9 in 100,000 are.
Yeah, that's right. It could be that everyone's going for it and they wake up in the morning and don't know because they had so many freaking drinks.
Could be that they're not reported.
They start drinking at 9 in the morning. It 100% could be that they're not reported. It could be that when they are reported, they're not treated seriously. It could be a whole lot of reasons. So, Swanee, you were talking about a cruise ship being a good place to work if you're a criminal.
Yeah.
So 14% of cruise ship companies don't conduct any criminal background checks on their employees before hiring them.
Yep.
So international waters, flying the flag of convenience, not very good policing.
If you were to think of a cruise ship as a floating hotel, what would be the comparable statistic in hotels? Would we say all international hotels conduct background checks on staff? Do you know what I mean? So we're saying, oh, that's bad, but is that bad? Is that?
Oh no, so I wouldn't say that the background check is significant, except to the point that Swanee was making that if the laws are that blurred, it's a very good place to work if you're a criminal. So you would kind of go, all right, this is a shit show waiting to happen. Let's make sure that we're checking our people. We're doing our due diligence.
It seems seems the opposite.
Yeah. I think that's right. So I mean, 14% is not that many.
No,
but it's enough to have
incidents happen
to create a very good opportunity if you are a criminal.
So if you're listening, apply now.
Yeah, exactly right.
I was just going through my own head saying, is it too late to pull out of this cruise?
I know, right?
What the hell?
You say that now.
But wait.
Hold that thought.
But wait.
by the time you guys get on the boat, you'll be terrified.
It'll be shaking like a dog
honestly,
shit in
we got a
race
balcony room. I wish we hadn't have now.
So have we. I'm going on the 12th of March. Will you stop carrying on?
So in 2013, the 4 primary North American cruise companies reported a total of 78 crimes nationwide. It includes 19 alleged sexual assaults and 29 alleged rapes. 6 cruise lines in 2011 reported on their websites 102 crimes, including 5 deaths, 34 rapes, 29 sexual assaults, 17 assaults, 13 thefts of more than $10,000.
Wow.
And 4 people overboard.
And not in a
That's not a
comic
lot.
and sexy way like the Goldie Hawn film Overboard.
I'm not sure. I don't know. That's what's reported, correct? So there could be
So
more
that's
people
what's
overboard?
bucket load.
Yeah, that's what's reported.
Yeah.
And that's from 6 cruise lines in 2011. So in a year, 6 cruise lines reported
Lost
that.
4.
So
Yeah, okay.
102 crimes. So I don't know what percentage that is of passengers, but it's slim, right? That the number of crimes per person going on the cruises is tiny, but the way that they then play out is terrible. So they're supposed to offer you some fun and enough drinking to give you a coronary-inducing bill, except that we've got the whole prepaid package.
Oh, always get the
which will
premium
just give
drinks
me
package.
a freaking horrendous hangover every day. Most of the time, they're a great way to spend your hard-earned vacation days, but sometimes seriously messed up things happen on board. Some won't just ruin your trip, they'll ruin your chances of sleeping for the next year, at least.
Oh.
There you go, Wiggos. So, and this is by Deborah Kelly. So I'm literally plagiarising. Deborah Kelly, who did messed up things that actually happened on cruise ships.
Uh-huh.
So the first thing I'm going to tell you about messed up things that happen is lots of cocaine smuggling.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with trying to make a quick buck. And if you can combine it with the vacation, more power to you. But please keep it legal. These are Deborah's words. I do like them. In 2016, 3 Canadians hailing from Quebec set off on a 2-month luxury cruise, spending more than you did buying your last car. They had plenty of cash to spend on Instagram photos, and we know where it came from. And I don't know if you recall this, but when the cruise ship hit port in Australia, Border Protection was waiting with sniffer dogs at the ready.
Dude,
They'd been tracking the ship for a while, and it was, from what I recall, it was like a 3-country or 4-country operation where they were working. They found 209 pounds of cocaine worth an estimated 22 million. It was the biggest pile of drugs Australian authorities had ever gotten off a cruise ship. What do you read into that?
But they don't get it. They don't catch them very
They
often.
don't go very, they don't look on cruise ships. They're too busy filming border control.
Or they've got drugs off cruise ships before.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
This is just
So
the
there
biggest
could be
lot,
just, yeah. So there could be loads of it. Hang on, I'm just going to wet my whistle, to quote Carl.
But I'd like you to say it with your spiel.
Alan.
Helen Shield. I'm
Wash-
just going to wet my whistle. Aphids, lace
Lace
bugs, even caterpillars. He was definitely one of the speech impediment day voices that we used to do. Welcome to Foxtel's World of Entertainment. This is Paul.
You didn't really do that. You've said it before.
100%.
But...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Always.
You said it the other day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we used to go, welcome to Foxtel's World of Entertainment. This is Paul. So I'm just going to take you through a couple of crimes that have happened, only in a very brief overview, so I don't get too sucked into
Shallow
detail.
dive, pardon the pun.
In the shadow. In 2017, CBS News reported on a bizarre death that happened on an Alaskan cruise. Kenneth and Christy Manzanares were on an anniversary cruise when her body was found in a blood-covered cabin alongside her equally blood-covered husband. When authorities asked what had happened, Kenneth's response was simply,
Oh, he was alive.
survey said, yeah, he was alive, she was dead.
He said vampiric menstrual blood went wrong.
Oh, no.
Yes.
No?
Sorry.
Well, that's
Sorry,
not
Lucas.
what he said, but I can understand why you would think that. Swanee, what do you think he said?
I don't know. I
Make
know that
it
was.
up.
I know I was supposed to.
Blood nose. She had a blood nose.
I don't know. So let me get this right. She's covered in blood, dead on, and they've walked in, and
Yeah.
he's covered in blood,
Yeah.
and he says,
The authorities said, what's happened? And his response was simply,
"I killed her." I don't know. No.
bloody hell. No, he said she would not stop laughing at me.
Oh.
And I can't...
I can't
that's
believe I
why
didn't come up with
he's
that. Oh my god.
So according to
Oh
friends...
my God, the other night. Sorry.
The other night you woke up
the
with
other
a dead
night-
person next to you.
Tony and I have got a rule where we don't, pass wind in front of each other. And he accidentally did. And
What?
I laughed and laughed and laughed, particularly because he was so shocked. He was like, oh, sorry, like this. And I was laughing and laughing. He could have bludgeoned me to death for laughing at him. Lucky we
love
don't
it.
have the same relationship.
I know, right? Well, I love that's your rule, though, because we do, and I don't know if it works with Siri, but hang on, I'm going to try it. This is what we do all the time. Hey, Siri, what's farts noise? Oh, she's shit.
Silent but
Yeah.
violent.
You do it with
Turn down
Google.
though, volume.
No, you do it with Google, and Google goes, this is a fart. And then we giggle.
Hang on, I'll try it now.
Okay.
Hey Google, what's farts noise?
This is a fart.
Could you hear it?
yeah.
This is a fart.
And she's all the way in the kitchen.
The farts noise often differs. Anyway,
Well,
there
we
you go.
don't. We try not to do that in front of each other. It's like this line, but he accidentally one just popped out the other day, and I laughed and laughed. And luckily, he didn't
Lucky
murder
you
me.
didn't wake up
Bludgeon
dead.
you.
Yeah, he didn't
Oh
murder
my
me.
God,
Did he
well,
bludgeon her to death?
No.
Oh.
According to Kenneth Manzanares, though, Tony, you would have been quite fine for doing that. So, according to friends and family, there was absolutely no signs of anything wrong in the outwardly happy marriage, even in hindsight. They checked all the boxes, 3 kids, high school sweethearts, married for 20 years, and loved by friends, family, and neighbours alike. One neighbour even called them the perfect American family.
Red flag.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one, of course, you get excited when you're going on a cruise, Schmitty, as you can understand. And then you've got to think about where all the food is stored,
Oh
Where the-
no, you're gonna ruin the food.
where
for me.
the sewage goes,
Yeah.
and the potential for illness. The environmental impact is another thing happy cruisers probably don't think twice about. Although I think
Nowadays,
now
I
that
think
we're
people do.
into
Yeah.
our 4th year of COVID almost, we all know that they're just what do they call it? A
Petri dish.
Petri dish. That's exactly what I was thinking. Just,
But they always have been. You know, in the
Yeah,
past,
of
you've had
course.
people who go on them, and they used to get from the orange juice. Everyone got the shits.
Yeah.
And they'd go into Sydney, and they'd have to basically quarantine in the harbour because everyone would have
the shits.
salmonella or shits
Yeah.
or what
Oh my
wasn't good.
God.
So
From the
The fact
orange
that
juice.
you guys are all four of you guys are going on, it's not lost on me.
You don't drink the orange juice. You just have the pina coladas, and that's all you have.
that's one of the reasons that we wouldn't go on them normally, because we just know that they're just an absolute shit show.
Well, no pun intended. But I've got to say, when we went on the celebrity solstice in Sydney, it was a bit delayed because they were spraying every inch of it because they'd had a salmonella outbreak, or I keep wanting to say gonorrhea. It's not the word I'm looking for.
God, gonorrhea. Maybe it is. What sort
No,
of
no, no.
cruise was it you were going on?
Are you tired of
another
the
word
drip,
like-
drip of gonorrhea?
Maybe it was botulism.
like
I don't know. There was something that there was on board this ship. It was a food-related, tummy bug thing. And they literally
E. coli.
sprayed. Yeah, they literally sprayed every inch of this thing before they'd allow anyone on.
We were eating in a restaurant. Let's become our little habit now. Before boarding the ship, we were astonished at how thorough they were. They were dosing the shit out of the place, weren't they?
intended.
Literally.
Dosing.
I guess that was the problem that they didn't do before.
Yeah, that's right.
They should just push flush at the end of the cruise.
Sorry, so you guys were at a restaurant off the boat watching...
Yeah. We were in
Yeah.
Circular
Circular
Quay,
Quay, yeah.
watching them clean the boat. And then when we got on it, they were like, yes, we have had this. So they weren't pretending they didn't.
Yeah.
But every time you went into any food area, you had to sanitize your hands, etc. And when you left as well. And they wouldn't allow you to take any food out of the food area.
And this is pre-COVID, right?
This is pre-COVID, yeah. So that was a celebrity. But then I've been on a couple of P&Os and
Not so tight.
fucking
Anything
do what you
goes.
like. Yeah,
Anything
exactly.
goes. Oh, God.
As some of our best E. coli.
They were fun. They were fun, but fortunately, they were only 3 days, both of them. Otherwise, things could have got a bit hairy. So tell us about where the food and the sewerage goes, Clarky.
So in 2016, Princess Cruise Lines was hit with a massive $40 million fine after one of its ships was busted venting oily waste directly into the ocean.
Oh, that's disgusting.
It had been happening since 2005, so for 11 years. And to give you an idea of the sheer scale of this environmental atrocity, The Guardian said a single incident discharges around 4,227 gallons of mucky waste products.
Oh.
I don't even want to know what mucky waste products
Oh,
are.
I can tell you, it's black water tank stuff.
Yeah.
It's everything that goes down the toilet with some enzyme stuff to break it down so that it actually is sludgier. Yeah.
I feel like it's got leftover cooking oil and stuff.
It's got everything in it.
it.
Oh, there's just no boundaries. So tell me, on these boats as well, I hadn't really thought about this, with all the laundry and stuff that they do, all of that, everything that gets kept on the boat
It should
once
do.
it's being used.
It should
And
do.
then they will get to a port, and then that's
gets
when it should
pumped
be.
out.
Yeah,
It should be
but
pumped
what
out into a
Princess
sewage.
we're just doing it directly into the sea
Dumping
whilst
it.
they're out and about. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the extent they went to in order to cover their tracks is a good
Jeepers.
mix of infuriating and brilliant.
Did there used to be a poo line out near Bondi though, Carla?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I
When
remember there used
When you
to be on the
say used to, are you talking about in the last 10 years or like, because there's
No,
always
but there
there's always
was.
been that poo line.
20 years ago at
There
least.
are
Yeah.
When I was
there
looking
are
at it, but
outlets in every coast.
I remember
Yeah.
I remember hearing on the radio what the fecal count was. And I
That's
used
right.
Yeah,
And
they
I'd be
shut-
like,
shut-
one is too high for
Sewage.
me. I'm not
What's
going
it
in
called?
that dirty bay.
Outlet.
Sewage outlets.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, you know,
They shut the beach because if it's coming
Too
back
many-
into shore,
Yeah.
if the
There you go,
fecal
Schmitty.
count is too high.
The Bondi Ocean Outfall Sewer is a heritage-listed sewerage infrastructure at Blair Street. That was on your side, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah.
heritage
North Bondi.
listed.
I was
That's
just
quality
thinking,
shit.
what?
Oh.
We can't get rid of it then.
Fuck. Now
Oh,
I'm
Heritage
heritage.
overlay on it.
We only want the old shit, thanks.
My God. The sewer line commences at the intersection of Oxford Street and College Street in Darlinghurst, and then travels in a more or less easterly direction for 6.1 k's through a number of suburbs until it reaches Blair Street in North Bondi.
Jesus.
It was built, and I think it was used until 89. Gosh.
Is there? So tell me, it's not operating anymore?
No, I don't think so.
Is there a campaign to bring it back to operation like they would do with Puffing Billy or something like that?
'Cause
Given
it's heritage.
listed, yeah.
I don't know, but I do remember when we were there, which is 99, Carla,
Yeah.
on the radio, they would talk about the fecal count in the
Yeah,
bay.
yeah, I remember that.
And it would be, what's an acceptable fecal count level? And I would say none.
Yeah.
Because they were out there. And they weren't just kids having a poop while they were swimming.
I'm confused.
What are you
Why are
laughing
you
at?
saying fetal?
Having a poop one.
It's delayed
Don't
reaction.
mind me.
I couldn't get all the way back in. I just had to let it out. I had it coming. I had it
You're not talking
coming.
about-
I had it coming all along.
Are you talking about feces? No.
Yes, I'm talking about poo.
You said fetal.
No, I didn't.
Fecal.
I said fecal. Put your listening ears
I
on,
I
Gaylord.
love that you've said fetal. They've got a fetal count in the ocean.
That's right. Yeah, well, it probably did.
Oh no!
Yeah.
There's fucking babies everywhere.
Stop it.
It's like when all
Nearly
of the
made it.
fish
Oh,
spawn.
enough. Oh,
Oh.
stop it.
After fooling all the monitoring systems into thinking everything on board was totally cool, crews would use something they called a magic pipe to dump the pollution. According to
What, they're going to smoke it?
according to the LA Times, the problem was
Get the magic
discovered
pipe out.
on one ship.
I feel the magic pipe.
Release the magic pipe! Releasing the magic pipe, Captain!
Clean up the ventilation shaft.
Magic pipe is adrift!
Okay.
Oh,
According to the LA Times, the problem was discovered on one ship by a new hire engineer who quit and reported the violations.
What's
we
with
got
the
a fucking
magic
magic
pipe?
pipe.
Exactly right.
What's the point of it?
What a load of old shit.
They said, mate, do you want to go and have a go at the magic pipe? He goes, fuck yeah, I'll bring my lighter.
This is not what I had in mind.
World's shittest magic pipe. So further investigation showed 4 Princess ships were guilty of similar offences. As we all know, have you seen the Titanic?
Yes.
Yes.
So you know how the captain stays on board right till
Yes.
the end?
Goes down
Yes.
with the ship.
So it's fair to say that the responsibility of the captain is to make sure that all his passengers are off the ship safely.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this one, but yeah, go
Well,
on.
are you thinking Concordia?
Costa Cordia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Italian bloke.
it's not.
Okay.
But this is exactly what I was thinking it was, because Captain Yanis Avranis was apparently not in class.
Janus Avranus.
Janus Avranis. What?
Yeah. Janus Avranus. Janus Avranus, surely.
Oh.
It's got a Y.
Oh, it's not a J. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Janus Avranus it is then.
Jonas.
So way back in the good old days of 1991, the Baltimore Sun reported on what should have been a pretty straightforward sinking of the Greek luxury liner Oceanus. The ship sank off South Africa and all passengers and crew were ultimately rescued. Among the first off was Captain Avranis and some of his fellow officers, leaving everyone else to spend the night on the storm-drenched sinking ship.
Oh.
I think I've heard of that. I've heard of some other captain doing it.
Yeah,
Well,
the
yeah, so-
Italian one.
Yeah, Captain Costas Concordia was the one that sunk in the Mediterranean.
Right, and he
People
didn't
died
mind,
in that.
did he?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
very bad.
That was really bad. Yeah, this one's
Yeah.
not so bad. One passenger said, "We were so angry with the ship's captain, we wanted to stone him." And honestly, that's pretty understandable.
What they needed was the magic pipe.
The magic
To
pipe.
get him stoned.
Oh, God.
Blow, don't suck.
Oh! Spit, don't swallow.
Oh.
While the captain later told the New York Times he had simply been coordinating the rescue from the safety of a helicopter.
Of course he had.
if.
That's not going to hold water.
Of
That's
course,
what he
no
said
one,
about his ship.
yeah, that's right. No one left behind was buying that. He tried to go back, he said, but everyone told him not to. Still on the ship and largely
Everyone
responsible.
being the rest of his crew on the helicopter with him.
Yeah, yeah.
No, don't go back there.
So still on the ship and largely responsible for coordinating the rescue of hundreds of people with a cabin crew, a group of
Cabin
cooks,
boys, yep.
and Robin Boltman, who stepped up into command. He was the ship's comedian.
I was going to say entertainer. Was the ship's entertainer?
Oh my God.
The next one is, oh my God. I actually did a bit more reading on this because it was, yeah, I could have done a full story on this, but I won't. But so obviously after the Titanic, you know how there was not enough lifeboats on the Titanic to save everyone?
Yeah.
There was a whole overhaul done of the requirements for things like lifeboats.
But also they let them go out half empty. So they didn't
Yeah,
fall
yeah,
in.
correct.
Because
Exactly
then you had
right.
The levels, yeah.
levels. Yeah.
So, of course, they went and did all of this, put all of these new safety regulations in place, which then resulted in one of the worst maritime disasters in American history. It happened on the SS Eastland, a Great Lakes cruise ship originally designed to carry 500 people and 6 lifeboats. After the change in legislation, that was raised to 11 lifeboats, 37 life rafts, and life jackets for each one of the 2,570 passengers that could be on board.
Did they get rid of passengers to make space for all these things?
Well, I actually went and Googled to go, was that a typo? Should it have been 5,000 people or whatever it was? But I couldn't find what the capacity was
Beforehand.
other than the 500. So I don't know whether
How did that go up? Yeah.
I think it was what I did see was something about the fact that it was a transport vessel, so it could have had other things on it other than passengers,
Right.
but it also could have had more passengers, and so therefore, because there could be so many passengers, they had to then change all of the safety equipment to accommodate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've gone from 6 lifeboats to 11 lifeboats, 37 life rafts, and life jackets. And of course, all of that has to be stored somewhere on the ship.
It's just under your seat.
Yeah. Your life jacket will fall from the roof.
And the exits are here, here, and here.
So, as Deborah, whose words I'm using, as we've already discussed, says, if you are paying even the slightest bit of attention in physics class, you can probably guess how top-heavy the extra weight made the ship and what happened next. I wasn't paying the slightest bit of attention in physics class.
And that
And
doesn't
still had
altogether make
fun.
sense because they just take on water to change the centre of gravity, ballast. So,
Only if
Yes.
they take on water, Tony.
Yeah.
no,
So
it's deliberately
flipped.
take
It's
on
clearly
water in the
flipped.
ballast tanks.
Yeah, no, only if they do that.
What
Right.
Deborah is trying to tell us is they didn't do that and it flipped.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're going to get to that.
We're all fucked up.
So on July 24, 1915, the SS Eastland was supposed to set sail with all that extra equipment and around 3,000 passengers. The Eastland was loaded with working class families hoping to enjoy a rare afternoon of free time, young singles hoping to mingle, and a ton of kids. They started boarding at 7 a.m. and at 7:23, the Eastland rolled over.
Well, if you have a ton of children, that's a big weight of children
It is a lot of children.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many children it would take.
to be
but-
a ton, but that's a lot
ton.
of children. Yeah.
yeah.
That's shocking. Rolled over
Chi-
or flipped right over? Rolled on its side.
The Chicago, yeah. So let me get to. I'll read this, and then if I don't tell you, I'll tell you because I read it.
Okay.
The Chicago Herald reported the surface of the river was black with struggling, crying, frightened, drowning humanity.
Oh, God.
Sounds like a little bit of a.
They all
dramatisation.
survived. It does
they
sound
didn't.
like, yeah. What?
I don't
Even
think
though
they did.
thousands
I thought Paul
joined
said-
in the rescue
No?
efforts, 844 people died,
Apart from them.
and most.
Oh,
Sorry,
and
just
most-
he goes, they all survived. And I go, I don't
Yeah, I
think
know.
they did.
That's why I
And then you
thought.
go,
Hang on a minute.
840, and then he goes, apart from those.
Oh, I missed the apart from those.
Or apart from
well
that,
done.
840, yeah.
Chime in with the comedy whenever you like, Tony.
Also, most of the victims were under 25 years old. The last to be identified was 7-year-old Willie Novotny. He lay unclaimed for such a long time because his parents and 9-year-old sister had died
Also
alongside
drowned.
him.
Yeah, how terrible.
Back to the point of did it just roll straight over? It didn't. It rolled over to about 45 degrees and then rolled back and then went over. And Tony, they hadn't accounted for the extra weight by putting extra ballast in. So this is 1915.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
wow. This is like 3 years after,
It's-
isn't it?
Yeah, correct. Not long after the Titanic. So
Do you remember when this was in the news?
You rude thing.
I wasn't born for 4 years after that.
How very dare you?
It's the bloody Second World War as well.
Next story, because this is a whole lot of weird things that happen on cruise ships. On December the 27th, 2016, passengers aboard the Carnival Ecstasy saw what had been a surreal sight. According to news...
What year was it? Sorry, Dave, 2016?
Yeah, sorry. December
Yep,
27th.
sorry,
So let's
yep,
go
yep.
on a bit of a Christmas cruise.
Yeah.
According to News Corp Australia, Matt Davis and his family were heading to dinner when they saw the closed doors of one of the ship's elevators, brace yourselves, suddenly drenched with a cascade of blood.
Oh, yuck.
Davis started filming and caught the entire thing on his phone.
Who would film? How is that the first thing you think to do?
You can find video, but we.
Let's not.
This is Deborah's words. We, but I'm also going to say we, as in Trial by Wine.
Don't
recommend it. A 66-year-old electrician named Jose Sandoval Opazo had been doing some routine elevator maintenance when the elevator started to move and crushed him against the shaft walls.
God.
The Sun Sentinel reported one passenger, Shota Tanaka, was on another elevator when it stopped amid sounds of crunching metal. The doors opened partway and blood started pouring over the entrance. There were no indications it was deliberate, and since the ship was in international waters at the time, the US Occupational Safety and Health Administration declined to investigate.
Shocking.
Next story. We're happy to move on from that one.
Oh, yeah. Could have left that one out, but yeah, go on.
Too sweet, Dale,
given
too
that
sweet.
given that we're going for a bit more comedy and a
I
little
thought, we're sort of
serious.
heavy on the comedy. Oh,
Moving
and then we
right
crushed
along.
a man to death in an elevator shaft.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Would you go on a trip aboard something named the Cruise Liner from Hell?
For the right price. For the right price.
For the right
You
price.
can have a discount.
I'm sure people here would, for the right price, for the
It'll
right
be
buffet.
warm, that's for sure.
And just a reminder, customers, the buffet is...
The all-you-can-eat buffet is an offer and not a challenge. I'm going to be running around on the cruise saying that at all the all-you-can-eat buffets.
Oh, you can't eat it all. I tell you what, though, enjoy the breakfast and the food up front, because after, I don't know how long yours is, ours is 11 days, but I did notice that, like, all the nice things that you enjoy for the first 5 days run out. And
Go
then,
stale.
no, they just run out. So
Get flushed down the magic pipe.
Your magic pipe.
well,
Oh!
everything ends up in the magic pipe at the end of the day.
Gosh.
Where are you guys cruising to New Zealand?
Yes.
Yep.
Us, yeah, we're going around New Zealand, yeah.
And what about you, Pat? Do you know where you're? Well, you do know. Are you
We're
going to
Mediterranean.
We're Mediterranean.
Cool.
They're going super posh.
Haven't done that since early last
Yeah.
year. So the cruise liner from Hell is what the Independent called the Achille Lauro, after a hijacking and brutal murder. The Achille Lauro already had a list of awful accidents under her belt, including fires, explosions, collisions, and more fires.
Jesus.
When hundreds of happy holidaying passengers boarded her en route to Israel's port Ashdod. This was 1985, so it hadn't gone viral. The ship was hijacked by 4 terrorists from Palestine Liberation Front. And Time pointed out the family at the centre of it all was the Klinghoffers. The Klinghoffers sound...
I don't know why he's laughing.
I don't know. It's a little bit Star Wars. I mean, Star Trek.
Star Trek.
I don't know. Sounds like
Not
something.
Klingons.
There's
Yeah, that's right.
Klinghoffers on the
On
starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. Klinghoffers on the starboard bow.
Get them
Peel
off!
them off, Jim. They were Americans on a cruise celebrating Marilyn Klinghoffer's 59th birthday with her and her wheelchair-bound husband, Leon. Leon was the man the terrorists chose to make an example of, shooting him, then throwing his body and wheelchair overboard.
Oh, God.
Easy target.
All of a sudden-
Easy target.
We've all of a sudden gone light on the
Why would we
comedy.
pick on him?
What? Well, because he's easy to target.
Wheels.
Cummins told you.
Wheels.
So the ordeal continued. The killing polarised the rest of the world, even Palestinian sympathisers against the terrorists. There's a whole bunch of stories told about what happened, why it happened, and what they really wanted. But we know no country would allow the ship to dock, and negotiations to free the passengers were eventually successful. Marilyn Klinghoffer would die from cancer the next year, and the Aquila Lauro sank off the Somali coast after yet another fire, which was basically just a matter of time.
It makes you want to know what that name
I don't
means.
know why I would
doesn't it?
know that. I've never heard that story, but I know the name Achille Lauro. I don't know why I know that.
Are you getting it confused with the Alba Varden from
No.
Lethal Weapon 2?
No, I'm not. I
He's
don't know.
the dickhead now, eh? I'm now going to tell you a very brief story of Amy Lynn Bradley. And this is another one that, if you delve into, there's a lot behind it. She went missing off Royal Caribbean's Rhapsody of the Seas on
Rhapsody of the
24th of
Sea.
March 1998.
Oh.
And the mystery
Yep.
surrounding her disappearance and what might have happened after is still unsolved. According to her family, they realised she was missing at 6 a.m. The previous night had been spent partying with the ship's band, and her father said she knew she returned to the... Sorry, her father said he knew she returned to the cabin and was there around 5:30. They went on to say she'd been getting an odd amount of attention from the ship's crew, and the crew's refusal to keep the ship at sea until she was found made the family think she was targeted for sex slavery.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
She had a
I've heard this.
butterfly
I've heard
tattoo or
this.
something
Yeah.
as well, didn't she? She had
Yeah.
a tat that made her.
She had tattoos that were distinctive, and if you go into it, I won't. But,
Oh, my God.
But so there was literally a point where the family was saying, "Please don't let anyone
the
get
boat.
off the
Yep.
ship until we can do this." And they said no, and they let a whole lot of people get off before. So no one really knows what happened on board the ship, but some evidence has turned up that suggests Bradley's parents may have been right. In 1999, a Navy man came forward saying he'd seen a woman in a brothel who claimed to be Amy Bradley. She'd asked him for help, saying she wasn't allowed to leave. And in 2005, a group fighting for the victims of sex traffickers found what appeared to be a grainy picture of Bradley posing on a bed in her underwear.
Oh, God. There's the comedy for you.
I know, right?
Jesus. You keep an eye on Schmitty for me.
No one's selling me into sex slavery. Don't worry.
I don't know, but woo!
I don't think there's a
The
market
Baroness
for
is gone.
my.
Well,
I don't think there's a market for my special kind of.
you
Oh,
say
yeah.
that now, Schmitty, but you wait and see.
You'll be the hottest, youngest one on there.
Oh,
Maybe.
maybe.
That's
Yeah,
awful, isn't
anyway.
it? Oh, God, that's really upsetting.
Yeah. So CNN reported the Bradley
dreadful,
family
yeah.
was completely stonewalled in its inquiries
Oh.
into Amy's disappearance. The family and the FBI were continuing to offer reward money for information on her whereabouts as late as early 2017. I did do a bit of reading, and I can't remember if it was this story that I'm thinking of, but there was something along the lines of the FBI offered $25,000
Thanks.
for information. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you the story of Larry and Christy Hammer. You'd like to think a cruise line would be held accountable if something terrible happened to you or your loved ones, especially if it was definitely their fault. The Hammer family found out the hard way the law says they might not have to. Larry and Christy Hammer were on vacation in the Peruvian Amazon in 2016. They were given a power strip by a crew member which short-circuited and started a fire that spread through their cabin, which was decidedly not fire-resistant. There was no firefighting equipment nearby, no fire alarm sounded, only half the emergency rescue team helped out, and they didn't have the proper training anyway. Christy was alive when they pulled her out of the cabin, and the delay in the rescue
God.
likely had something to do with her death. Sounds like it couldn't be more straightforward, and you'd think the Hammer's children would be getting some major payout, right? But unfortunately, they get a whole lot of nothing because the Hammers were retirees. And according to the Death on the High Seas Act of 1920, cruise
Yeah.
lines only have to pay families if the dead were responsible for earning money and supporting the family. That means children and retirees don't count. The only thing they were offered was a refund for the cost of the trip, but the Hammer's daughters sent the check back.
It's good you're still working.
I know, right?
He's very wise.
Note to self, always say you're still working when you go on a cruise.
Yeah.
So now we've talked about lifeguards in previous podcasts.
Do a great job.
So cruise ship law is weird, and it lets cruise ships get away with a lot of. It lets the cruise lines get away with a lot of things other companies couldn't. Things like having pools and hot tubs, but not employing lifeguards.
Oh, God.
There's stories of kids who have died in cruise ship pools, including a 10-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy who drowned in Norwegian cruise lines pools. An 8-year-old boy nearly drowned in a Royal Caribbean pool and later died in a New York hospital. And after the drowning death of 6-year-old Quentin Hunter, the family started a hardcore push to force cruise ships to have on-duty lifeguards. Their fight dragged on for a shocking 4 years.
Ridiculous.
And it wasn't until 2013 that Royal Caribbean and Disney all announced they'd hire lifeguards for their pools. All right, so now we're going to play a little game.
Oh.
So I'm going to tell you some funny stories that have happened on cruise ships. And you're going to have to guess if, when we go on our cruise ship,
It will happen.
This is going to be happening to Clarky, Stu, or friends.
Okay.
All right. So there's 5 stories, and so you can pick. There's no rules on who, so you can pick me the whole time. You can pick Stu the whole time. You can pick others the whole time, but you got to work out who. The first one is on our final night on Carnival Magic. Sorry, this is from an article where people had to send in their funniest cruise stories. So, hence I'm talking in the third person. So on our final night on Carnival Magic, my sister-in-law walked right into a column. It was probably about 18 to 24 inches in diameter, so it didn't come out of nowhere. We looked back when we heard the smack of her faceplant and crash and shatter of her glass of beer from Red Frog Pub. She was okay and we had a good laugh. We even have it on video. It's priceless. I still giggle just thinking about it.
Friends. What's the name of your friend who falls on her face all the time? Is she going?
Stacey.
Is Stacey going with you? Because that's definitely a
Stacey
Stacey
falls
move.
out of pubs.
You know, Stacey's not. but it's a good call.
Very good call.
Stace would totally do that. Yeah.
Is that the one that cracked her head on the
That's
fireplace?
the girl who fell on the hearth of the fireplace, and we thought she'd died, and she just bounced back up, and she was fine.
There's plenty of stories about Stacey.
Stacey, yeah.
Good call. Good call. Swan, are you happy to go with that, or would you like to have any other?
No, that's fine. That one's fine.
Okay, so the next one is on the Oasis, learning how to do the flow rider. I was on my tummy doing pretty good, just staying on until I fell off. I stood up and my entire bathing suit was off. I was standing up naked and all I could do was laugh. Thank goodness the guy running came over with the board to cover me up, sort of, until I could find my swimsuit.
Oh, God. That'd be awful.
Oh, I've got a suggestion, but I'm going to have to edit it out. This one's for you, Swanee.
Oh, my God, with these
When his dick came out of the out of his bathers.
Was it good?
About that? Yes, yeah. No.
Look at the boys.
No, Gum Nut Baby, remember?
That's why I call him budgie
Gum
scrubblers.
Nut.
No, it wasn't. It was Gum Nut
Tyler
Baby.
Gum Nut Baby, yeah.
Gum Nut Baby. I'd forgotten about that. Absolutely, I've forgotten about that.
So who do you think that would be, Swanee?
You got a little ding-a-ling.
I don't know. I can imagine.
Who do you think that'd be,
Stu
Swanee?
having a big giggle. I can imagine Stu.
Oh, Stu, have you got a big giggle?
No, I can imagine
It's
him.
not a
I don't know.
euphemism.
Would you have a giggle if your bathers come off and was like, I don't know.
Would
Oh,
I have a
I
giggle?
think Caroline
yes,
would.
he'd laugh. I'm not
I
on
don't know
this
the options
cruise.
for these pair.
Or others.
But
Or
other than your friends, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only got you just compared to work
She
with,
doesn't
really.
know your friends.
I think
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so if
So
you
sorry,
don't think
Stu.
if you
Oh,
don't
if
think
it's
it's
not
either,
either, then
so
it's and friends,
Yeah, then
right.
it's our friends.
And friends, yeah.
But yeah, so Swanee, I think is going you, Dale.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah.
me.
Well, because you'll have to have a pair of pants that could come off quite easily. So you'd have to have a little pair of budgie smugglers to start with. No board
Oh,
shorts.
okay,
really.
I'll buy some. Yeah.
Little, yeah.
Schmidt, are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'll take.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So
I'll go with Stuart.
next one.
Yep.
We were on the Oasis sailing with another couple and we were looking for them in the solarium. We saw the woman lying out in the sun on a lounger, so my husband snuck up and stuck his finger in her ear.
Oh,
Thank God it was her
was there
ear.
an ear? I think that's her palm.
Yeah, and she didn't have a hearing aid in. He didn't push it all the way into her canal. The problem was it wasn't their friend.
Obviously.
It just looked like her. So it was very embarrassing when she jumped up and started talking fast and loud in a different language.
Paul, totally. That is such a Clarky
Yeah,
thing to
maybe.
do. Only you make sure nice and wet
Yeah.
before you
Oh,
start.
100, if I was going to do that,
A wet whistle.
Yeah.
Wet Willy,
Yeah.
yep.
Wet Willy, that's it. Sorry, I've already got
But also, I don't even find that funny because that would happen to me all the time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Just another
I think you're
day
right.
in the life. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right. All right, so next one. New to cruising last year, I stood on my balcony as the Carnival Valor was leaving the port in the Bahamas, thinking these have to be the friendliest people in the whole world because they were waving very strongly as we were departing. I was waving just as strongly back with a big smile on my face. I didn't realise they were passengers that had missed the onboard timeline.
Oh,
That's a
Stop.
Stuart. That is Stuart.
Drowning,
Yeah.
not
That
waving.
is totally
waving.
Stuart. Yeah. Hi.
See you later, fuckers. We're
We
off.
miss you too. Mwah.
Fish already.
And then the last one that I've got for you is my aunt forgot her room key on the Enchantment of the Seas, so the room attendant, Judy, asked what her cabin number was. And so my aunt showed her the card, which is really the room key.
Yeah.
And Judy proceeded to unlock the cabin for her with the master key. All the while, neither of them realising my aunt was holding the key in her card, the key card her whole time.
That's Tony.
That's... No, that
Hang
could,
on a minute.
No, it could. No, it could be. It could
Yeah.
be.
It could be.
We've all had that moment where you're looking for your sunglasses and they're on your head.
yeah.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, no, but if somebody had said the word key and it was a flat rectangular thing, I'd say
You wouldn't see
it's
it.
not a key.
Yeah, because you look for the shape. Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense.
It's a bloody
It's like-
credit card, you idiots.
Yeah, if I search, if she says this is in the fridge or this is in the cupboard, if it isn't exactly like the
What do they give you on
the-
cruise ships these days to manage who you are and, what you're accessing? Is it like you're at
A
Disneyland?
lanyard. You get a lanyard and a card. And
Okay.
the card is what? I've been on.
Is it a picture of you?
No, I'm just thinking, God, if I've got to fucking wear a lanyard on a cruise all
Yeah,
the
because
time,
you do,
I'm
because
over it already.
No,
you do,
they-
because your drinks package is associated with your lanyard. Everything you
You
pay
can
for.
put it
I
in
just want to be able to go like that.
No, you can't
You
do
can
it by
put it
biometrics.
in your
Put your mind-
Put it in your shirt.
you can
Jedi
put it
mind trick.
in your shirt, right? Or you can get a lame crystal encrusted one and wear it with pride.
As
bet
a
you
brooch.
can.
Why can't I just scan it on my iWatch and go,
Mundane.
I don't know that you're cruise ready, Clarky. I'm concerned.
I've told you I've never wanted to do this.
and I'm going to say I'm not sure that this exercise is going to propel you forward in your journey towards.
But this is
going
why I'm sharing
boarding.
it with you because 100% I've made the wrong decision.
You'll have a good
Yes,
time.
yes, the free drinks and all the food were
It's not
fun.
free.
but-
You pay for them. Don't you
No,
worry.
I've already paid for them by the
That's
time I
right.
get there.
That's
But
right.
the point is also, I go, there's so much to do on this cruise, but I've got to go and see sights as well. So I
No,
can't.
you
No,
don't.
you
No, you
don't.
don't. The sites are overrated. You know,
Well, we
pyramids,
don't do
all that
sites.
sort of shit.
Yeah, but
Idiots
that
like
sort of
you,
shit.
because idiots like you go and see the sights, and then there's no one at the pool, and you can actually enjoy the pool.
You take
But so
over the boat.
but so that's exactly where my head's going now. I've paid all this money to go cruising around the Mediterranean, and I can just stay on the ship and get trashed.
The ship is its own destination as well. That's what's amazing about them. Don't you scoff, Swanee?
I did. Straight with their marketing collateral.
I'll tell you why it
They
sells.
put so
One
much.
port.
They
I
invest so
know.
much in them.
I know,
So
I
you
understand
don't
that,
have
of course.
to get off
It's-
it. Yeah.
I know.
It'd be better for the environment if they didn't fucking use all that
Yeah, but
petrol going around.
never mind. We're talking
I
about
agree. It's
enjoyment,
usually
not the
diesel,
environment.
I'd say. But no, I
Right?
tend to agree that they are an environmental disaster.
Well,
Once-
if they have a magic pipe, they are.
And be aware that you do need to take some extra cash to tip them.
Oh,
Well,
Well,
if it's international
goes from bad to
waters, what
worse.
currency?
Whatever.
Euros.
Whatever
I'm going to take
Euros,
Vietnamese dong.
dong.
Well, while
You're
you're
going to
at
pay
it.
someone with that.
You like some dong, sweetheart?
Oh, God.
You like my dong?
I got so much dong for you.
All right. On that note, what a
Oh.
great episode. I am going to call it because I'm not sure we're getting any sense out of the dong man over there. So that was a nice shallow dive, no pun intended, into cruising. And I look forward to the deeper dives that we're going to have in the future because apparently it's cruising month.
It's cruising month.
It's cruising month.
Good one. Thank you for that, Clarky.
Can you come up with a
And,
promotion, Schmitty, so you can have a... You know how we
the
used to
ship
have...
is the destination.
Can we use that shit song by Huey Lewis and Gwyneth Paltrow? I love it when you're cruising together.
Yeah, it's terrible. I'll have
Cruising
to-
is made for love. One of the lyrics is, I love it when I love it, I love it. Like,
You're very familiar with the lyrics. You've got them ready to go. Your recall's good.
yeah.
He's like you with
I'm all
pop
over it.
culture.
Yeah.
Music.
Oh, really?
good
Okay.
lyrics,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm not very good at that.
But we need
All
some
right.
merch as well.
All right, Music Rain Man. Thank you very much.
246 matches.
I was going to say, it's
That's
improved from
close.
Dong Man, which she called you Dong Man.
Yeah, Dong Man, Rain Man.
Cruise Man. All right. Excellent
chat.
show.
What was I supposed to
And-
say? Cruise chat. Cruise chat with Clarky.
Cruise crime.
Cruise
Dun,
crime.
dun, 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 dun,
Cruise
dun,
Crime
dun,
with
dun.
Clarky. Cruise Crime with Clarky.
Cruise.
Where the ship
That was it, Cruise
is the
Crime.
destination.
Your last destination.
For the fourth time. And as we say every week, miss you already.
Ciao.
Ciao. Can't wait to see you on the oceans.
Cruising. Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine, or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.